Keg-King FasTap kegerators are the fastest assembling kegerators in the world. There are two varieties, push fit and barb. So if you bought a FasTap-B, this video is for you because I'm going to show you how to put the barb fittings onto the lines and step clamp them into place. It's really simple. So now let's see what's inside this box. One of the first things you'll find is the gas lines. They've already been assembled. This is a dual tap kegerator, so there's a single T-piece that's already been step clamped onto the T-barb. This is a stainless steel 6mm T-barb, and then the lines are coming off of this. Next you'll find your font. In this case, because this is a dual tap kegerator, it already has the two taps assembled to it. You're going to have to tighten these up a little bit with the tap tool, which we're also going to find inside. And because it's a dual tap kegerator, it has two lines coming out the bottom of it. You're going to fit these through the top of the kegerator, and then underneath this dust cap, using the screws that are inside this box, you will attach the font to the top of the kegerator. This is your 5-in-1 tap tool. We're going to be using this to tighten the taps onto the font to make sure that you've got a great connection between the shank and the tap. This is the Mark III regulator. It's a great regulator and it has a barb connection on it. So with those gas lines that we took out earlier, we're going to be fitting one line to the regulator. This regulator is going to be attached to your gas bottle that sits in the CO2 cylinder bracket that can hang off the back of the fridge. So these are your stepless clamps. Keep this baggie handy because this is what we're going to be using to hold the lines onto the barb connections that we're going to be attaching. You'll also find two gas disconnects. If you have a 3-tap kegerator, you'll find 3 gas disconnects. You'll find 2 liquid disconnects if you have a dual tap, and 3 if it's a triple. These are going to go on the ends of the lines of the font that you're going to run into the kegerator itself. Once you've run the lines in, that's when we're going to be attaching these liquid disconnects, the black ones. You'll find the top of the font. This is going to cap off the top of the font once it's sitting on top of the kegerator. And you're also going to find the seal for the bottom of the font. This is going to go onto the kegerator first before you put the font on top of it. You'll find the tap handles. These screw onto the tap, and you can also replace these with other tap handles. We have a variety. If you don't like the black ones, there's chrome ones, there's long ones, short ones, all sorts of different varieties of tap handles available. You'll also find this baggie. These are all the screws and nuts to be able to hold the font to the top of the kegerator. Now, your kegerator already comes with pre-drilled holes, so you're going to line up the seal first, put the font on top of the seal, and then using one washer and one screw, you're going to attach the font. Now, the factory has also provided 4 nuts to go with this. The nuts actually aren't needed in this case because they don't attach to anything. The screws are already into threaded holes, and that's all you need to hold your font in place. So what you do with those nuts is up to you. They're extra. And that's it. That's what's inside this box. So let's get started with attaching the disconnects to the gas line. So the first thing that we're going to do is assemble the gas line. What we're going to do is find these gray gas disconnects. And if you can see that this T actually has the left and right coming off of it, on each side of this, on the left and on the right, the line has an end that doesn't have anything on it. So what we're going to do is warm the line a little bit in a bit of hot water, not boiling water, just hot water. And just that'll soften it up a little bit and make it easier to slip over this barb. But before we put it over the barb, remember this bag of stepless clamps. So locate the stepless clamp from a bag, and then you're going to put it over the line, and then just hold this in the water just for a few seconds. It won't need much, and that'll actually be pretty soft. And now it really simply just slides over the barb, and you want to bring it as close as you can up to the top. Try not to kink the line or cut it on the end of the barb. But once that's in place, you slide this stepless clamp up over the barb so that it's nice and about halfway down the barb. Using your stepless clamp tool, locate that little raised bit on the stepless clamp, you just give it a squeeze. And that's it. That's all you need. Do that again on the other side. So once you have your disconnects on, this side of this tube is going to go through the back of the fridge, and we're going to put the regulator and step a clamp onto the barb on the regulator so that that line is then complete. So this is going to go onto the line, and a stepless clamp is going to hold it in place. So once again, you're going to warm your line once you've run it through the kegerator out the back. And then get the line onto the barb. Once you've got the line on the barb, you'll see that's about halfway down the barb. Using your step clamp tool, once again, just tighten and crimp this loop on the stepless clamp, and that's a nice tight join on the regulator. This end will now attach to your gas bottle. So for this next part of the assembly, you're going to seat this font on top of the fridge. You'll take out the plug and then locate this gasket. The gasket holes will line up with the holes on top of the fridge. And what you're going to be doing is lining up the holes on the bottom of the font with the gasket. You're going to have to locate your black disconnects. And once the font is attached to the top of the fridge and the lines are now running into the fridge, you'll do this within your fridge. So to get the disconnects onto the liquid lines, you're going to have to warm the line, but you might also find that you need to spread the line open a little bit to get it to be flexible enough to go over the barb. For this, you can use a pair of spreaders like these, that when you squeeze them, they'll open the line up a bit for you. Or maybe some needle nose pliers that you can get up into the line and just spread it out just a bit so that it can get over the line or get over the barb and you can step clamp the line. Once you've finished putting the disconnects onto your line, it's time to put the tap handles into place, onto the threading just like that. Cap off the top of the font, and now move the font fan from inside the fridge up into the font. Make sure that it's just blowing air up into the font, and you can keep that on the whole time. It's very little energy to run, and it helps even the temperature out within the fridge, as well as keeping the lines cold within the font. So that's all there is to it. You've now got a FasTap-B, and you're one step away from just hooking up kegs, testing those lines. Make sure with sanitizer, and foaming sanitizer especially, or soapy water, that at every single join that you've just created, you don't have any leaks. Also, if you had any issues with this video and you weren't quite clear on how to position the font, you can watch the FasTap video for the push fitting variety, or you can watch our How to Build a Series 4 Kegerator. Both those videos explain in detail how to set the font onto the Kegerator itself. And the only difference with FasTap-B is that once you've put the disconnects on for the gas line, the other side of the gas line is going to go through the fridge, from inside the fridge to the back of the fridge. That's it. Thanks for watching.